Hi, my name's Jason. I'd like to tell you a little story about myself. From the time I was a little boy, I was introduced to this word stewardship. See, I was a year old when I met my little brother, and my father instilled in me that it was my responsibility to be my brother's keeper, to watch out for him and keep him out of trouble. My teacher, Miss Kim, pulled me aside in elementary school, and she told me, Jason, I need you to be the leader because the other kids follow what you do. And in first grade, I had the opportunity to then help the kindergartners and the preschoolers. And throughout my elementary school, I would have numerous opportunities to pursue what was actually my primary gifting, which was speaking and sharing and teaching. I got involved in the DARE program, and I got to travel around all the schools in my city and speak against drugs, alcohol, and violence. And the DARE program ultimately led to opportunities now to go to different camps and eventually to speak to the governors and the city councilors of the great city I was from. So by the time I had finished high school, now I had spoken at every high school, middle school, and elementary in my city. And this led to an opportunity not only to be a school representative, but to go to Boys State, which was an extreme honor because only 2 boys are selected from every school. Now, I was the first elected governor at Boys State from our post in more than 16 years. Now at this point, even though it was subconscious to me, my primary gifting was speaking, sharing, and teaching. My secondary was athletics. As a student athlete, I had really started to excel. I worked really hard in the classroom, and that work ethic transferred onto the field. So as Mr. Football in my city, also Mr. Community Service, I was starting to get recognition from colleges and universities who are now recruiting me. My senior year in high school, the worst case scenario happened. The 3rd game of my season, I got a season-ending injury. I tried my hardest to fight my way back to play, and in the very last game, I was finally cleared to play my last game senior year. And wouldn't you know it, I dislocated my shoulder, tore a labrum, and now I needed surgery. So the recruiting I had already lost and what little I had left was now diminished completely. And along with that was my self-confidence and my courage to step out and help other people. My focus shifted from my primary gifting to my secondary. In other words, I stopped focusing on helping other people and started focusing on how I could help myself. So now I'm in college with my alignment backwards. My secondary is now my primary, and my primary had been shifted to my secondary. So I had to earn every single inch that I got in college. And on paper, it looked amazing. 3-time academic All-Big Ten, 3 bowl championships, a special teams MVP award, an academic achievement award, an all-purpose yards leader award. But on the inside, I was empty. I didn't have the emotional maturity to step into the next level. I worked very hard to get to the NFL. At my pro day, I showed out. Out of the 7 running backs that were present, 3 of us were selected to continue training with the Minnesota Vikings coach at the time. Now, this was the year, if you remember, Adrian Peterson had a knee injury, and the real question was, is he coming back or is he gonna retire?
Fackrell, the linebacker, you can see that ankle underneath.
Well, he came back, and when he came back, I didn't get called back. Now, from this place, I had a real identity crisis. Mr. Football no longer had football. And going back through this, I learned when I'm not in alignment, in other words, when my primary and my secondary get switched, everything's in chaos. So if you find yourself reaching, trying to find that thing that just might work for you, I challenge you to go back to your primary and watch how things fall into place.